Welcome, Wes. I'm super excited to have you on the podcast today. If y'all didn't know, this is the one and only Wes Warren. So, Wes, we have something to settle today.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, we're going to settle today who's the best realtor in Cullman.
Okay.
You know how we're going to settle it?
How?
By arm wrestle.
Oh, my goodness.
That's why we needed the table. Are you ready?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm up for that. You're a CrossFitter.
I'm just kidding. I told Kendra that was a great idea.
That's pretty funny. I like that idea, though.
So we're going to talk about a little bit about real estate, the challenges, maybe a little bit about buyers and sellers. So first, tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been a realtor, and how long you've lived in the area if you're local? And just go ahead and go with it.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me on. That's really an honor to be on the Big Shot Show with you. So how long? Let me see if I can. It's been 18 years that I've been in real estate, and born and raised in Cullman. So family roots go all the way back to the German immigration. My mom's side of the family, the Kesslers, came with Colonel Cullman. So back in the day, it was that, and my grandparents had business here. My dad had a business here, so I've kind of been rooted in Cullman my whole life.
Did you graduate from Cullman?
I did. Graduated from Cullman High School, so 1991.
Back in the day.
Been a while. Went to Wallace State, so stayed local for that, and then went on to Alabama from there.
Okay. So what was your major at Alabama?
It was actually social work, and never finished. So that dream died. Came back and met my wife there at Alabama, and so we got married the summer she graduated, and ended up getting into business here in Cullman.
So that's randomly. When you decided you want to become a realtor?
No, that was early on. So I came in and actually bought into Carlton's Italian restaurant that summer of 1997. So it was a long time ago, and so I did that for 10 years, and then got into real estate in 2007.
That's the year I graduated high school.
Oh, wow. Are you serious?
Yes. Yep. Graduated in 07 from West Point, played tennis, went on to become a dental hygienist. Boss told me I wasn't going to make any more money, and then I jumped ship and decided I was going to get into real estate.
Well, there you go.
So here we are.
Interesting.
Yep. So we're going to talk a little bit about the market in Cullman. And one of the big questions that I have for you as a realtor, you can get really caught up in the business and what comes from it, and you can forget about why you're doing what you're doing. And you can put your things on the back burner that you shouldn't. So my biggest question is, you've been in the business a long time, you're a very successful agent in the area. So how do you balance life and your job?
That is a fantastic question. It's funny, I got in real estate to be able to balance life, because the restaurant business, you have zero. So my kids started getting of age where I knew I was going to be missing out on a lot of their life if I didn't do something different. And I thought real estate offered that because you could set your hours. But I really learned quick early on that it's a full-time job, that it's a lot. So that balance is really something that you have to make as a choice, in my opinion. We're able to set how we do things. I talked to another real estate agent one time about this, and I said, hey, there was a time where I'd said, I'm not even going to work on Sundays. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to spend time with my family. And I just dedicated that unless it was just an emergency. So you had to make a conscious decision to balance that out, and then realize you have to spend that time with family, friends, and you have to work it out that way. The good thing about real estate, as you know, is sometimes you're showing a house at 8, 9 o'clock at night, and you can spend time with the family during the day. So you're allowed to do that with that balance, and that's how I've done it. It's just a conscious decision that I'm going to take off when I need to, and usually customers understand that and honor that.
Yeah. Because you can really get caught up with a fast pace, and you can put those things on the back burner, and then you look back and 5 years just went past, and like you said, you've missed some of the core moments of your family, and you haven't been able to go to church and haven't been able to actually enjoy while you're working. So it's really easy to get caught up with life and trying to take care of others. You want to put everybody else first, and you forget why you're actually doing what you're doing.
That's exactly, and my wife accuses me of that all the time. She goes, well, you do it for your clients, and then you start thinking in your mind, you're like, well, yeah, I kind of have to, but then you realize it kind of hits home. You're like, you're right. Yeah, I need to do that for family as well.
Yeah, because I realized that I put a lot of stuff on the back burner, and then it just become you need to do open houses, and most people come more on Sundays, and it's one of those things. It's you have to choose what you want to do. But then, if I was in church, some of those people that I'm in church, you're in church, and they talk about real estate while I'm in church. So it's,
for sure,
if you put God first and then your family and then your business, I feel like everything else falls into place.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that.
So let's talk a little bit about Cullman. So you said that you've lived here your entire life. You graduated from the fantastic school of Cullman. I graduated from West Point. It's probably I don't know. I'm not going to say second best. I have different thoughts about
That's funny. I love it.
Living good old town of Battleground.
That county-city rivalry.
Right, yep, county and city, yep. Cullman was our biggest competition in tennis for sports. So tell us something that you would like to share with the viewers about local things in Cullman, or something you've enjoyed, or something that stands out why you actually stay in Cullman.
Of course, the family aspect of raising a family here, it's just, it feels safe, it feels comfortable, and it is, and that's why people are drawn here. But, the infrastructure that's come, now I think we have some fantastic local owner shops, restaurants, and all that, and it's appealing to me, and nothing more I love than to support a local business of that sort. So that's what's kept me here and wanted to come back here. My wife's from Pennsylvania. When we met, it wasn't ever a decision if we're going to go somewhere else. It's like, that's where we're going to come and live. So almost like I made her, because you want to get out of here so bad, it seems like, and then being away a couple of years, you can't wait to get back. So
yep.
That's kind of, the local aspect of things.
You transform your wife into a Cullmanite.
That's right. She still has a little bit of that that northern accent, but for her family, they think she's got a redneck accent. So it's funny.
And it's very small town, home-ish feeling when you come into Cullman. You get the local business owners. You go in a restaurant, they're very friendly. You get great service, whether you're from here or you're not from Cullman. I feel like you get the same type of treatment no matter where you're from. My first transaction was actually a family that moved from Pennsylvania to Cullman.
Oh, how about that?
So it's a big change for a lot of people. But then being local, then they know that you have the knowledge. They trust that you know what you're talking about. You know where all the places, as far as doctor's office, dentist's offices, you know how to navigate your clients on, once they do move, how they're going to be able to settle in and know where to go and what to find.
Yeah.
And then we're right in between Huntsville and Birmingham, so it's conveniently located for travel. So I feel like Cullman is a great place to be.
It is. It's ever-changing, as you know. I mean, just get online, social media, and you're going to see the complaints that are out there. And, the traffic's not the best in the world, but it's still a fantastic place. You're still not driving, an hour to do something, so it's still a great place for that purpose.
So let's talk about a little bit about the upcoming market, 2026. If I'm thinking about buying or selling, do you feel like there's ever the best time to list your home or to go look for a home?
You can look at the statistics and what it says, and then best day to list is on Thursday. It's funny, all these things on that. But what I tell my people every time is there's never a bad time, in my opinion, to list or purchase. Traditionally, this time of year, it is slower for the most part, but we were just talking beforehand, things are very steady. And I think Cullman's a different market than a lot of the national markets, that when you're looking at national trends. So we're protected somewhat. So, of course, springtime is usually a better time to list, just because of the grass is greening up and flowers are coming out. Your house just looks alive for that, as you know. But traditionally, sales are really good regardless. And then, of course, with a buyer, it just depends on when their need is there and then what they've got. And all that comes into play with what the market's doing, what's available, and of course, interest rates and those kind of things. So
right, because everybody's circumstances are different, whether you're a buyer or seller. If I'm about to move to Huntsville for a job, then I may not be able to wait 2 months. And am I going to get more money if I wait 2 months? a lot of those things based off of circumstance. If it's priced accordingly, then are you going to make more money if you wait 2 months for the flowers to bloom and the grass to get green? That's something me and Wes can't tell you, but we can advise our clients on what we believe is the best thing for the client to do.
I agree. I agree. And it's different with each, like you said, each situation's different of
right.
why or what for that.
So since you've been in Cullman for how long?
52 years.
52 years.
Which tells my age, but yeah.
Over 5 decades.
Yeah, 5 decades. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder.
So tell me, what is one of the favorite things that you really like to do with your family in Cullman?
Just getting outdoors. So no matter where that is, Smith Lake, my dad was one of the first land purchasers out there when the lake was formed, and bought that. So kind of grew up out there, loved the lake. I love outdoors. I love all the parks we have. Duck River trails. We're a hiking family, so we go to the Grand Canyon every year. Me and my kids do. And so just getting out like that is and then the festivals. I absolutely love all our festivals that we have now, and just running into a lot of people that aren't from here, and just talking about Cullman for that. So that's, and going out to eat. I love to go out to eat. So we do that a lot, and just getting out into the town.
All right. So moving on, I'm sure one of the questions that I get a lot, and I'm sure you get this a lot too, is when is the housing market going to crash?
Get that all the time.
So what are your thoughts? I feel like home equity is standing strong here in Cullman, and year after year, home prices or values are actually rising. Yes, we may be seeing price reductions, but a lot of times those price reductions come from a home not being priced from the beginning when it first went on the market. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts in the upcoming year, what we're going to see with the market?
Yeah, I think it's going to continue the trend that we are. Again, I always say Cullman's a protected market. I think it is. I don't think we're going to see prices increasing, but I think we're going to stay stable. Like you said, there's a lot of overpriced properties, in my opinion. So it's kind of, that's the price reductions you're seeing are stabilizing there for that. So I don't see a crash in the near future. Even back when nationally we had what was considered a crash, I was in the business. Cullman really came through pretty well overall with that, and maintained itself. So I don't foresee that happening. That being said, it's still a great time for anybody that's looking or thinking about looking, for that purpose, or those that are waiting. I think they're going to be disappointed for the most part. I think you might start seeing a trend of a few more foreclosure properties, but what I'm seeing, as you probably are too, is a lot of those are priced at market value and not considered a foreclosure price. So,
yeah. So, what are some of your goals for 2026?
We're talking about goals, and if you ever look at my social media, I post every January. Peter LaFleur, you know who that is, the great dodgeball philosopher. His statement was, if you set goals, you may never reach them, but if you never set a goal, you're never disappointed, and it feels fantastic. So that's been my thing is not to set a goal, so I'm never disappointed. I'm just kidding. I do post that every year, but for me, I'm not one of those that writes goals, and that's probably not a good thing. Probably not what you want to hear and what a lot of people want to hear. What I do is just do what I know every year over and over and over again, and that's treat people the way I'd want to be treated. Try to gain trust through that, and then of course, at this point, the data bank that you've got, and then my family's businesses that's passed on, it's really been a blessing for me. So I don't just set goals, but I do set goals, because in my mind I know I want to do what I did last year, and just kind of keep repeating. It's just that I hate I don't write them down.
It doesn't mean if you don't write your goals down, you don't have all these numbers, doesn't mean you're not going to be successful in the business.
That's right. That's exactly
you're a very
right.
successful agent, and you have been for year after year. So I'm very goal oriented, and I feel like I have to write those things down, and it motivates me more throughout the year when I do those things. But at the end of the year, I'll say that you're right. It is very discouraging and it's upsetting. This year, I one more transaction to meet my listing sold for the year. And I could see a little bit of, we're getting really close to the end of the year. If the transaction doesn't close, a little bit of disappointment.
Sure.
But one of the things that's on my board that really I probably should have made a priority was you made a mention that you go to the Grand Canyon with your family every year. So one of those things is 2 vacations. And I've went on one, and I'm getting really close to the end of the year. So I'm going to make this goal board. But it's really hard when you're trying to help people to forget about yourself and your family and other things. So it's funny that we're talking about goals, because some of my goals is actually I have to set those goals that I'm going to spend so much time with my family and friends, because if not, I get so caught up in work that I don't even realize that I've put all that on the back burner until maybe it's a little too late. Then you have to mend things. So it's one of those things for new agents, I would say, is make sure that you're time blocking and that you have your priorities right.
Yeah.
Because it really can get out of hand really quickly before you know it. And, when you first got started in the business, I'm sure that there were times that you're like, okay, I got to stop what I'm doing. I got to go show this house. And you may not even told them, hey, well, I'm available tomorrow at this time. You just stopped what you were doing with your family and went and did it. So say new agents is a balance. Another thing I like to talk about today is the amount of agents that are in the area. So I get asked a lot about the market. There's not enough houses to sell. There's not enough buyers here to help because we have so many realtors in the area. So I'd like to know what your thoughts are when you're talking to buyers or sellers. Maybe they're trying to decide who they're going to use, or are they going to interview more than one agent, or how they decide what's going to be best for them.
I get that a lot too. And I do feel like we're pretty flooded for such a small market, sort of say, with agents versus houses and that kind of thing. So, used to, there'd be a lot of the interview process, interviewing agents. I used to go through that a lot, and I was very discouraged when I was a new agent because I thought you're going to get everyone, and it just didn't happen. It's like, when do I finally establish that? So now being 18 years in, and you're seeing kids, grandkids, become clients. It's one of those things. So interviewing wise, my tactic for the most part is just using the history of that's there, and just saying, look, here's what I've done. Mm-hmm. I used to say, pull the numbers, and if anybody's numbers are better than mine, then hey, go with them. And then you'd win a lot that way. So things have changed because social media, for the part. You're a big TikTok person, and you got your social media going, and a lot of people rely on that, and there's nothing wrong with that because exposure is important. Mm-hmm. But there's also the knowledge that comes in. So each transaction is different, and I've seen it all, I think, for that part. So I try to really stress that is you got somebody that has seen it, that knows how to deal with it, problem solver. I always try to stress that. Problems are going to come. You just got to learn how to solve each one. Sometimes you do that on your own, and they don't even know you've done it. So you have to kind of explain that to the new customer in that sense too, if that made any sense at all.
Right.
All that.
And I'd say a lot of times when you sit down with a seller, when they're interviewing you, once you go through just going over information with them, they know if you know what you're talking about or not. For sure. So if you're the first person they interview, they may not even interview anybody else because they sat down, you made them feel comfortable, you didn't stress them out during the appointment, and they felt like you were going to be a great fit for them. Yeah,
you see that a lot too, for sure.
Right. And I'd say another thing is a lot comes into play when they ask you, do you do this as a side hustle?
I agree.
So being a full-time agent takes a lot of dedication, and you're not just working 40 hours a week usually. So they're going to take into consideration if you're a part-time agent or a full-time agent.
And there's a lot, I didn't mention that. I'm glad you brought that up because there's a lot of part-time, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you're serious and you really want to, get your house sold, you need a full-time agent, in my opinion, because what happens if they're at their other job and they reach out to you and this is an emergency situation and they can't take time off for that reason,
Right.
So, yeah, it's important.
Yep. All right, now we're going to shift things to social media. You're talking about social media. One of the things we're going to talk about is things that buyers and sellers don't necessarily know in today's market, because a lot of things are done online that clients don't know that these things happen. So I'd say one thing that has really become a big trend is, say that I list a home and your client is using you as a realtor. You've already did your buyer's consultation, and they go onto realtor.com and they click the button and they think that they're making an appointment with you to show the house to them. But then they get connected to whatever agent is in line that's paying for the lead, and they show up at the house, and then they're wondering why, A, you're either not Wes Warren, or B, why you're not the listing agent. So a lot of misconception with buyers in today's market, and even sellers, is they don't realize that these platforms are using the MLS. They're connected, they are generating leads, and they're paying for the lead to give it to them.
Yeah.
So that's something that I feel like the community needs to be educated on, that if you're looking for who is the listing agent, you just have to be very careful when you're on Zillow and Realtor and Trulia and all the websites, because you're not necessarily getting connected with your buying agent or the listing agent. So what's your thoughts on that?
That's great, and I stress that at every one of our office meetings. I think I've done it 300 times in the last year, is stressing that point. It's so confusing to the consumer on that, and there's some of that I do not like. And here's the thing: you actually have to pay for some of these leads, because if you don't, you're going to miss out on some. But they are very disappointed, and actually they don't trust you at that point. I think for a lot of it, when they show up expecting something else, or a call. We even did some tests where we were doing it as agents to see where you'd wind up, and sometimes it would be somebody completely out of the area that you wouldn't even have. They wouldn't have a knowledge of Cullman. So yeah, I'm not crazy about that, and trying to educate the public is hard.
Yes.
Because we do property management. We try to educate them. We lost like 6 renters that went and bought houses in 1 year, and none of one of them used our company. It's like, why not? And they thought, well, you have to use either the person that's on the sign and it wasn't explained to them correctly, or they did the old click and got the other person. So education is huge on that, but I just don't know if it'll ever fully be. You know, Zillow's made some strides here recently. I don't know if you knew about phone numbers.
Yes.
Now it has to be your phone number, where it would take you to a lead number. So list agent's phone number at least shows up. But if you do click on there, you could get anybody. So education is key. How to do that broadly is going to be hard, but just spreading it every day, I guess, is the best way to do it.
Yep, buyers and sellers just sitting down doing consultations, agents taking the time and the extra step to educate everyone.
For sure, and sellers also, we get them sometimes upset because of the misinformation that's on. Like Zillow will pick up and they do their own thing. We're like, we have nothing to do with that, how they're putting your house out there, because the bathrooms will be messed up, or address will be messed up,
or the price
will be
some agent
messed
put the
up.
wrong address and close it out, and then a buyer thinks that they paid $100,000 the year before when actually they paid $300,000.
It's very confusing. Very
it is.
confusing.
So while we finish this up today, what is some advice that you have for first-time home buyers? Because first-time home buyers may be struggling in the area today. They feel like there's nothing out there for them.
For sure.
And so what is some advice that you may have for a first-time home buyer?
It is tough for a first-time home buyer. We spoke a little bit about this earlier, and I've got a couple I'm working with right now, and one of them I've been working with about 6 months. And we've missed out on 2 here recently that I've not been in multiple offers in a long time, and both of them were with this couple. So they're very discouraged. And so trying to explain patience, even though it's I won't, and I understand that. So patience is a virtue, of course, on that, and then guiding them, understanding you don't want to overpay for something, and just have to realize to trust me with this and these kind of things, because now they're wanting to go in and offer more on houses because they've been beat out a couple of times. So, guiding that first-time home buyer and understanding rates are probably not going to just be drastically lower at this point. And everybody watches the Feds, and it's like, hey, sometimes interest rates aren't following the Fed rate. You got to understand that, because all they think is that the rates have dropped, and that's all I hear is interest rates. So you can't worry about that. You have to take that out of your pocket and just think about where you're comfortable at on a monthly payment. Let's get that and see what that number is, and find the right homes that are going to fit you, and go from there.
And just them understanding they don't have to have all the things.
That's for sure.
You know, we don't have to have granite. We don't have to have maybe Cullman City. You've got to find the balance. And one thing I just noticed that you talked about, sounds like your first-time home buyers, they're only using you as a buying agent. They're committed to you. They're not going from you to me to another agent. You sat down, maybe did a buyer's consultation, and they realize that they can use one agent to help with the legwork, help them find the house, and not call every agent on each side, and then they're just hoping that they fall into the right house.
No, that's great. Great point. And that's important for a new agent to help guide and understand. You do that. Consultation is important because they're flighty. Buyers will be flighty. I've had good friends that's done it, and you have too, I'm sure. So that's important to understand. Yeah, just hang in there with me. We'll get you taken care of.
Right. As we wrap up today's podcast, do you have any words of wisdom?
Well, just stay true to yourself. I've never tried to be somebody I'm not, and there's a lot of people out there that do, in my opinion. And then, again, the golden rule, it just comes into play with everything, in my opinion. Just treat others as you want to be treated. If you do that, like we talked about, putting God first, and, I'm a believer, so that comes in, and everything else kind of falls in line with it. I said I don't set goals. In my mind, I set goals. I don't write goals, so I've got those out there that's there. So you have to have those things in place. Family's important. Make sure you take time, like we've talked about a couple of times on this, for that. So,
yep.
But yeah, stay real to yourself.
Yep. No one wants to work with someone that they're trying to be someone else.
I agree.
So just stay down to earth and do what you're supposed to do and do the right thing, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. All right. Y'all heard it from the one and only Wes Warren.
Oh, yeah. That's really big.
Thank you.
Thanks.